Hi, welcome to Fiberchats. My name is Irina. I'm the host here, and you probably recognize my guest today, Beth Zych. Welcome back to Fiberchats.
Thank you so much for having me back, Irina. It's really great to be here.
Well, you've been very busy since the last time we talked, so tell me a little bit about what's happening in your life.
I have been really busy since the last time we talked. Back then, I was working with Jimmy Bean's Wool. And shortly after we talked, Jimmy Bean's was purchased by Local Crafts, which is also the company that owns Knit Picks and Barocco and a few other businesses as well. I can't remember all of them. Um, And as a result of that purchase, there was some restructuring, and I have decided to build my own little something.
Well, tell me about it. I'm actually very excited about it.
Thank you. So am I. Um, the name is YarnSmarts, and YarnSmarts is a community that is based on virtual live experiences. So whether they're retreats or what I call workshop weekends, which I'll tell you what those are, whether they're just regular workshops or classes. I do something called a craft chat, which is slightly different from a fiber chat in that mine is much smaller and much more contained, and it's only an hour, and we talk about, I don't know, books or upcoming classes or whatever. But I've got a few folks lined up for those. And it's a place for people to just come and learn virtually and be together virtually. It's based on the notion that you need to be in the Zoom where it happens. You
Right.
need to be there. A lot of teachers have told me over the last 5 years that, especially the last 2 or 3 years, that it's really great that we have recordings and people can go back and look again, but it's really hard to teach to a room full of dark cameras, or you sell out a class but then maybe only half the people show up because they know they're going to get the recording of the class later they can watch. I firmly believe, and have for a long time, that there is magic that happens in a classroom live that you won't get on a recording.
Right.
There's something that happens. One person will ask a question or someone will say something that sparks the instructor to go in a different direction than maybe they would normally go in the class, or maybe that was even on the syllabus for the class or whatever. And it opens up this whole new avenue of information that would have been closed but for the person asking that question.
And I find that also, like when you take a class, and I took a lot of classes,
Yeah.
half of it was to learn, but also just to see how people teach and how people respond to the questions. And often the whole class doesn't understand something, or something is not really clear, but they're just afraid to make a fool of themselves and show that they are inexperienced or something, and so they're afraid to ask, but then one person will ask it, and suddenly everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, thank you for asking that, because like it wasn't clear to me either.
That's exactly it.
Right.
That's the magic spark I'm talking about. That's exactly what it is. It's this one moment in the class that all of a sudden something magic happens. And one of my dear friends, Nina Mocklin Dayton, who's somebody I've been working with for years, she and I have had many, many conversations about how this happens 98.9% of the time in a classroom setting. This is what happens.
Right.
Sorry, that's my dog scratching his neck if you're hearing all that collar noise going on. I don't do anything without Remy. He's always in the room. He's always here. Remy's always here.
We are pet friendly here in Fiber Chats.
Well, maybe he'll get up the nerve to come and say hi, but we'll see. We won't push him. He likes to observe.
Right.
Anyway, um, Magic Spark. It's just it happen and it happens almost every time. And Nina and I have talked about this over and over again, and why it's so important for the students to be there and be engaged, just as they would in an in-person class setting. Only you get to do it from the comfort of your own crafting space with your sweats on or your jammies on, with your cup of tea or hot cocoa or whatever beverage and your snacks and all your stuff around you. So it's kind of like the marriage of two worlds. It's the in-person education model, which sounds really technical and it doesn't mean to be, with all the advantages of a virtual situation.
I ask you a question that I usually ask everybody who I encounter who's trying to achieve some dreams. Who is your target audience? Who do you imagine this Yarn Smarts is for?
It's for any knitter and crocheter who wants to learn. It's an open, welcoming community that we accept anybody and everybody who loves yarn and wants to make beautiful things with it. That's my target audience.
So you don't have to be on certain level of knitting or crochet expertise to join.
If you've never knit a stitch or crocheted a chain before in your life, we've got classes for you. If you are, you've designed pie shawls and you've done complex cable work or whatever, we've got classes for you too. There's a little something for everybody here. And it's really important to remember that when you're looking at the skill level that's listed for a class, it might say advanced beginner, but there's going to be something in that class that's worth the price of admission for any level knitter or any level crocheter, because something, again, the magic spark, something always happens, and there's an aha moment, or I just learned the coolest thing from Keith Leonard this weekend that I never knew before, and it changed my life. So it's that kind of thing, and it's those kinds of moments that I'm hoping to give knitters and crocheters through being able to be in the Zoom where it happens with these amazing teachers who just want to teach.
Keith is absolutely amazing. But talking of Keith, tell me about this weekend that just happened recently. Tell me about like what was it and what people could learn during that weekend.
So it's called a workshop weekend where I have two teachers who come and we kick things off on Friday night with a special kind of social event. This one was an ice cream social. So Keith and Shayna told us all about their favorite ice cream flavors, and I brought mine. Everybody brought theirs. If you don't like ice cream, you could bring your own snack, whatever the story was, but just so everybody was having some kind of little goodie treat together and chit-chatting. So that's Friday night. On Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, both teachers each teach classes. Each teacher will teach a class on Sunday morning, and then on Sunday afternoon, the two teachers come together and teach one class together for the group. And I had Keith and Shayna. I think Shayna said I was the first person to get them to team teach
Yeah, that's an interesting
several years
concept,
ago. Well, they're such good friends and they're so funny
right?
when they're together and they're both so knowledgeable. So even if they make a plan and they have a whole plan of how they're going to do and what they're going to teach, something will happen that will send them off and you'll learn five more things that weren't even in the plan.
And they both like super expert at everything they do. And
Yes.
I stand by the fact that Shayna is one of the most brilliant instructors I ever had the pleasure of learning from, because she can explain, she can draw in front of you, she can explain it so that anybody, like on any level, will understand what she's trying to say.
Shayna Billow is a genius. This is absolutely true. In fact, I think Shayna Billow introduced you and me.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
think.
how we met. Yeah. She's wonderful. She's one of the kindest, sweetest people. Like she's so approachable and she's just so, and this is something that's so important because these teachers are there's I mean we talked before, I've had a few fangirl moments and still do, but these folks are all so approachable. They just want to teach. Their passion is getting the information out there and inspiring and making a creative spark in someone else.
Well, I have
That's
an
what they love to
anecdotal story about that. So I took a class, online class with Shayna about how to design a hat. I
do.
never ever designed a hat. I hardly ever knitted hats. Like, I mean, I maybe have like 5 hats under my belt. So I came to this class knowing pretty much nothing about hat constructions. The homework for the first class was to design your own hat. That hat that I designed, I published on Ravelry. It had 5,000 downloads. It was on the #1 hat right now on Ravelry for 5 consecutive days.
That is
That's how
amazing,
she
Irina.
teaches.
That's so cool.
That is how Shayna teaches. I actually have this hat right here.
Yes, I want to see that. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's called bullseye diamond hat because it's a bullseye construction and it has diamonds, lace diamonds in it.
Well, it's funny you should say that too, because my bestie who was helping me out this weekend and she was moderating Shayna's classes for me while I was in with Keith, she was all excited because Shayna taught that class this past weekend.
No.
And after the class was over, I said to her, I said, "So, how was the hat class?" And she said, "Oh my God, it was awesome." I said, "Are you ready to knit hats now?" Because she said, "I always try to knit hats and I always mess them up and I can't get it." She's like, "I'm going to be knitting hats all winter long."
I love that.
So I mean, so there it is. You know, it's that's the kind of thing that that's what inspires me.
Right.
That's what drives me is when students and teachers come together and have those moments and have those wonderful results and have things happen and it changes, you know, the knitter's life in ways that the knitter or crocheter never expected it could have.
Right. And the fun part about that specific class was that it wasn't just for designers.
Right.
It was basically for like the premise of the class was like if you want to you have a grandchild and you want to make something that's in adult size for the grandchild, you can adjust. So just to understand how the hats are constructed and what the types of designs there are, so you can take like there was a lady who was doing something for her grandson who got into the college and she wanted to do some design with the college colors. So like anything and everything was going, like was fine for this class.
And that's what these teachers do. That's all about what they do. And Shayna's amazing at it. She really is. I learned how to drop a stitch on the edge of my knitting and pick it
That's
back up.
so brilliant. I love that
Keith,
technique.
Keith, Keith, this was Keith's fixing mistakes class, and I have if I dropped a stitch before Sunday, if I dropped a stitch on the edge of my knitting, we're ripping the whole thing out. And I don't care how many inches it is. We're ripping it out because that edge stitch is a disaster. Nope. Now I know how to fix my edge stitches. I'm
I
feeling
love that tip. I actually was blown away when I've learned that tip.
this is what I'm saying. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's worth to take the class just to learn that one tip, actually.
Worth the price of admission. There's always one thing. I'm telling you, for any knitter of any level, any crocheter of any level, there's always one thing that's worth the price of admission because it will change your life.
Well, you have a very exciting event coming up, so I wanna you to tell
Do.
me about that.
So November 13th through 16th, I am hosting my first Yarn Smarts virtual retreat. It's the Yarn Lovers Late Fall Retreat. And we have got eight really, really amazing teachers coming to this retreat. I'm going to see if I can list them all without looking them up. If I miss anybody, don't be mad at me. I've got Fiona Ellis, Kate Atherley, Zandy Peters, Amy Snell, Tanis Gray, Natalie Warner, Kim McBrien Evans, and the incredibly fabulous Barry Klein.
That's all stars there.
All star it's an it and you know I had so much fun putting this retreat together, thinking about the classes and who was going to teach what and where in the weekend the classes would be placed. So if somebody had an interest in doing this or this, they could take both classes from two different teachers or something like that. So it was really like sort of puzzle pieces laying out on my desk and then kind of arranging them in a way that would be accessible for the most number of people. Um, Registration is open right now. You can go to yarnsmarts.com and go to our retreat page. That will take you to a registration page for the University of Massachusetts. They are my partners in crime, and we've worked together for many, many years now. They will take your registration, and in a couple of weeks, you will get to select your classes. You can download, easy for me to say, the retreat booklet from the UMass's webpage so you can see all of the classes and get the descriptions and meet all the teachers. Um, we're gonna have such a good time. It's gonna be such a fantastic weekend, and I'm so excited just to put this out there. So I hope anyone who's free that weekend, and I know I'm a little bit late to the party, getting this out there to the world, but anyone who's free that weekend, if you don't have plans, it's the middle of November, the leaves have kind of fallen by then, it's starting to get cold, November's kind of brown. Come sit inside with us and knit beautiful things with gorgeous colors of yarn.
Well, so tell me a little bit more about that weekend. Like, what can people expect if they register for the retreat?
So, in addition to the classes, I like to do little hour-long events sprinkled throughout the weekend. So, our mornings will kick off with a morning kickstart. So, I'll have a special guest each morning, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to come and chit chat with me um, about whatever's going on in their world, what inspires them, um, how they got their start, all those kinds of things. I will do an afternoon little event sort of around lunchtime so you can grab your lunch and come and sit and listen to something fun. And I'm calling them craft chats. And Irina is actually one of my guests. She will be my guest for a craft chat on Saturday of the retreat weekend. Then I'm doing a happy hour after the afternoon class is over. So we'll do another fun sponsor presentation or something like that. I haven't got them all booked yet, and I don't want to give too much away because they're little surprises here and there.
Yeah.
And then to close out each evening, we'll be doing Yarn Smarts After Dark. And you're just going to have to come and see what that's all about.
Is there different price tiers for the participants to register for this retreat?
Absolutely. Because we know a whole weekend doesn't always fit into everyone's schedule. I've planned three different package levels, the jade package, the olive package, and the sage package. And all of the packages get you into all of the events. I'm doing little goodie bags for every attendee, so you'll get a little goodie bag from me in advance of the retreat. But the sage package offers you two classes. The olive package offers you three classes, and then the jade package offers you four classes, plus all the events, plus the goodie bag.
Well, I'm just curious, why did you name them Olive, Jade, and what was the third one?
Sage,
Sage.
because they're all shades of green, which is my favorite color.
I love
That's why. Well, I wanted something the package names that I've used for other retreats in the past have all been, yarn related, which makes perfect sense because this is a yarn retreat. But I love green. So I just thought the package names should all be green color names.
It's absolutely perfect. I love that.
It is.
Well, tell me a little bit about who do you think would benefit from participating in the retreat? Is it only for knitters or is it only for also for crocheters?
It is also for crocheters. I don't have as many crochet friendly classes as I have knit classes for knitters, but there are classes for crocheters and they are spread out throughout the weekend. We have classes on playing with color. We have a class on embellishing your knits. We have a class on scrapbooking for knitters and crocheters. Um, Barry Klein will be teaching his Tunisian crochet class, which, from what I understand, is the perfect gateway drug between crochet and knit, or knit and crochet, depending on which way you're going.
Yeah,
Um,
actually played with it, and it's one of those classes that like I knew nothing about Tunisian crochet when I took a Tunisian crochet class, and I was able to make a whole like headband by the end of the class.
mhm.
It's totally doable.
So I have to segue away from the retreat just for a minute because I want to speak to all the crocheters out there or would-be crocheters out there. The weekend before the retreat, November 7th through 9th, I'm doing another workshop weekend. That weekend with two teachers come and teach over the weekend with Edie Eckman and Tony Lipsy. So you'll have a weekend of crochet with Tony, or Tunisian crochet with Tony, a weekend of crochet with Edie, and they're going to team teach for the first time ever, the two of them, a class on Sunday that's going to be so much fun. All of the details are on the website, yarnsmarts.com. Just go to the events link on the navigation bar, and you can read all about the workshop weekend there with Edie and Tony.
And you know it's going to be super fun because they just like such great personalities.
They're both of them truly amazing women, really truly amazing women, and I'm so fortunate to have been able to work with them for many years and to put this that we've been talking about doing this weekend off and on for a while, probably for over a year and a half now. And it's finally going to happen. And we're so excited.
Well, you mentioned a few events that already some already happened and some are coming up. How far in advance are you planning? Like, are you already thinking about next year? What
Absolutely.
can people
I've
expect?
got classes planned into January that will be going up on the website soon. I'm working with three other teachers right now to do classes for this year. In fact, I'm going to give you a little insider information, so shh, don't tell
Don't
anybody.
tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. Kim McBrien Evans and Natalie Warner are putting together a workshop weekend for the first weekend in December. So
Okay.
hopefully we're going to be able to get that scheduled and pull that off because if you have not met those two, again, two really great friends who know each other well, who are going to do a team teach again for the first time. Um, but they are experts on sizing and how to help you get fit, how to help you create things that will fit you, that you will love to wear. They're both amazing. I've taken classes with Kim myself, and she's incredible. And she also dyes really amazing yarn. Give a shout out to Indigo Dragonfly Yarns because her yarns are spectacular. Anyway,
Well, YarnSmart sounds like a school to me, and in school there are semesters usually. So, do you have everything planned for this semester? Is there something else that's coming up?
there will be more classes coming this semester. There will definitely be classes for next semester, thinking about a 3 semester year of winter, spring for one semester, summer for another semester, and then fall. I just find it easier to plan that way, and I think it makes sense in people's heads because it's kind of like a school year, so
Right.
you can kind of think about it that way. Particularly if for folks with younger families or crafters who still have kids in school going, they're sort of on that school year cycle. I think it really helps. And it just makes sense in my brain to plan things that way. So that's how I do it. I know other people do it other ways, but that's how I do it.
So, who else is going to be teaching this semester?
I've got Harry Wells starting a series of 4 workshops in 4 weeks, starting on October 29th, and he is going to teach cable class. He's going to teach mosaic knitting. He's going to teach hexagon stitch. And he's going to teach one other thing that has flown completely out of my head. But I call it sort of a mood board of knitting techniques because they're such great techniques that you can incorporate into your own knitting really, really easily. And Harry's going to show you how to do that. So just ways to sort of level up your knitting and create your own little mood board of classes. Roseanne Fleischauer is with me this semester teaching several different crochet classes and one knitting class for crocheters. But most of her classes are centered around crochet. She's doing crochet fundamentals. So if you are a knitter who doesn't know how to crochet, Roseanne's class is fabulous. All of these are listed on the classes page on my website. Um, she will also be teaching a stash busting class that's for both knitters and crocheters. And if you haven't taken her stash busting class, I highly recommend it. She's amazing. I have Susan Barron, with whom I've worked for many, many years. She's going to be teaching two really great classes on chart reading, one on chart reading and one on how to use stitch fiddle to chart your own knits. She's also teaching a steeking class. Feel the fear and steek anyway. You don't want to miss that. If you've been afraid of steeking or cutting into your hand knits, this is the class. You definitely want to take this one.
And just to tell everyone, it's not that bad.
It's
It's
not
not
that.
that bad.
And she's going to demystify it all for you. So that's really incredible. I also have Sophia Talley coming, and if you haven't seen her work, she is absolutely incredible. She's got a new book coming out called Knitting Cowlettes, and she will be with me on Saturday, December 13th, talking about her and teaching classes on her both of her books. First, Knit Two Socks in One, and then Knitting Cowlettes. She'll also be joining me for a craft chat in November to talk about the book and get ready for her classes. So you don't want to miss that. All of the craft chats are listed on the craft chat page of the website so you can see who's in the lineup. I've got Kate Atherley coming up in a couple of weeks to talk about her new book. I've got Marie Green coming up in a couple of weeks to talk about her new book. So we've got some really exciting things happening. Bruce Weinstein will be joining me in early 2026. He's got a craft chat coming up to talk about his classes on double knitting. So if you're mystified by double knitting, you definitely want to put that on your radar. And then yeah, working on 2026 and what's
Well,
coming up.
do you think like as a vision for the future, do you think it's gonna be like a real school experience where people can do continuous education?
Yes. Eventually it will get there. I'm hoping to have a full semester of classes for the winter spring, but it may not happen until fall of next year. But there will be a core curriculum of classes that are offered all the time. So anybody just, whatever level you're at, we've got something going that will work for you, that will be our sort of our core curriculum of classes, and then have all these other exciting classes that sort of frame that core.
Right. Well, I can't wait to experience this retreat. It sounds super fun, and you definitely have all stars lined up for that retreat in November. So I'm going to put the information about how people can register in the description of this video. So click on that link and just register for whatever package, whatever color shade of green you like more. Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you for being my guest today.
Oh, Irina, thank you so much for having me. This has really been fantastic. I really appreciate your time, and I'm so excited to welcome you to the retreat next month. We're going to have such a good time.
I'm a little bit scared to be on the
Oh
other
no,
side.
it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have so much fun. And as a special guest, you're allowed to come to any of the other events that you wish to come to.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So you
Thank
can
you so
see
much.
what everybody else is up to.
Thank you. I would love that. Thank you. Are you planning to be at Rhinebeck this year?
Oh my goodness, yes. My bestie and I will be at Rhinebeck adorned in our YarnSmarts backpacks, and we might just have some goodies to give away. And it's entirely possible that we'll be doing a raffle for a gift basket worth over $1,000 retail.
Oh my God, how do we find
So,
you?
yeah. Well, look for the silver backpacks with the YarnSmarts logo on them. We won't be able to carry the gift basket around. It's going to be a mystery gift basket, so it's going to be all wrapped up. We won't be able to carry that around because obviously it's
Right.
kind of big. But we will have a little fishbowl for you to give us your name and your email address to subscribe to. All you have to do to enter the raffle is subscribe to our email, and you get a chance to win this amazing gift basket.
That sounds
So
fun. Like I'm
come
really
and
excited.
find us. I will be wearing a green sweater with a silver backpack on my back.
Well, I'll be at the Rhinebeck as well this year. So I'll be at the Podcaster Hill 12 to 1 on Saturday. So if you guys are there, come say hello to me as well.
Well, I will definitely come say hello to you because now we've met virtually twice and in person none. So we're going to change that.
And that's a good opportunity for you to find that silver backpack easier. So come 12 to 1 to Podcast
Perfect.
the Hill, and we'll leave the subscription little piece of paper that wins us that basket.
Wonderful. I love it. Irina, thank you.
Thank you. And until I see you there, happy crafting, everyone.
Happy crafting, everyone. Thank you so much.